Yeah, I think it's fun to think that like all the like kids out there who will see themselves like reflected in us, which is something that
for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is the first time you're getting to see an Asian Jedi, in JJ.
Yeah.
You serious?
While we've been doing our silly little jokes and sketches, you've been sitting there gasping, "This is the greatest show I've seen in my life."
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You want to meet some more cast members from the Acolyte?
No, God!
Come here.
No, God, please, no! No!
I won't make it weird, I promise.
No!
Come closer. Because I got you, fam!
We don't need to nullify! We don't need to nullify! We don't need to nullify!
So my character, she's a powerful leader. She's a powerful leader. Yes. In a very woman-centered world, which I was very excited to kind of be in that, because I feel like Star Wars is very like patriarchal. So it was kind of cool to have like this sort of woman-centered figure. I love to see it. And,
3 hours later.
And I also really loved that, I feel that our show was much more woman-centered than what I have previously seen in the Star Wars world.
No.
This is Duke Nukem. If you're looking for a douchebag to save the day, then try Jason King with Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Akbar now. I've been Akbar for about 6 years. And so I say, the forest moon of Endor, woman, it's a trap! All power to the forward shield. And I was not really thrilled about how they blew him out the side of the ship. I'm like, who's this Holdo woman? Nobody knows this. No one's invested in that. Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? If anyone's going to save the fleet, it'd be out. Oh, no.
All right, let's just real quick. Let's talk about Clone Wars. How cool?
Star Wars, that evocative theme tune that just gets me going every single time. Well, that's all about to change, folks, because I got some news for you that you're not going to want to hear. But guess what? I'm bringing it to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet Amandla Stenberg. I actually thought her name was Amanda, but of course they have to get the "le" in because, hey, you know what? This is the Americans for you, which actually reminded me of Reacher Today, episode 5, where the guy talks about the effing Americans and their strange signposts on their highways. And then Robert Patrick's character Langston says, "Fuck your king," which is actually quite a base thing to say. And I couldn't agree with Mr. Langston anymore. But of course, why am I focusing on this actress at the moment? Because in an article for Teen Vogue, she uses the they-them gender pronouns because it allows her to explore herself. Already a contradictory statement because you can see Miss Stenberg is, well, I'm assuming she's quite clearly female. She identifies as an actress and a singer. So how can you be an actress if that is not associated with being a female, right? Do you see what I mean? So this is all pretentious Hollywood BS. I don't need that in my life right now. What happened to the good old days of Matthew Broderick and Mia Sara and all those other performers you see in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? They never went on a press tour and said, by the way, I don't really see myself as a boy or a girl. No, they're just there to promote John Hughes' all-time greatest movie. But of course now I'm talking about The Acolyte, which is being showcased and show-runned into the ground by Leslie Headland, the assistant, the PA for Harvey Weinstein for 6 years. You don't think she knew what he was getting up to? Who he was getting up to with? Of course she knows. Is she going to say a thing about it? Of course not. The Acolyte TV show is going to be her way to make up for her misgivings for being run by the patriarchy for 6 years and getting paid a lot of money, by the way, I may add. So if we go over to this Entertainment Weekly article, which is hilarious, by the way, this was actually published back in July the 18th of this year, but it's worth revisiting now because this thing is utterly cringe beyond belief. And look at that photograph right there. So you've got Lee Jung-jae perched rather comfortably on the right shoulder of Miss Amanda Stenberg, and she looks unfazed by that rather close contact. Whereas Miss Leslie Headland has this stench of, did somebody shower today? Because that's what her face looks like. Anyway, this is 8 minutes and 37 seconds. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the gumption to get through this, but already I can see some thumbnails below which look absolutely, well, this is modern day Star Wars, isn't it, folks? Remember, this is a new Star Wars project called the Acolyte. Remember what I just said.
Turns out because it is the earliest in the Star Wars timeline that we have ever been in live action. We are in the middle of the we are toward the end of the High Republic, leading into the prequels, George's prequels. So we are looking at a time period.
So before the George Lucas prequels, so, you know, Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, this is all set before that. Just remember.
Where the Jedi are at the height of their power. We're looking at a time period where there is peace throughout the galaxy. And it was very challenging and interesting to make a Star Wars with no war in it. So the question became, well, what?
Star Wars, but it's got no war in it. That's like Saving Private Ryan with no explosions and bloodshed and a missing brother to look for. Okay.
Should the show be about if it's not going to be about galactic conflict?
Have you been sent from the future to destroy me? Because it's working!
And I think that what makes this show different and interesting is that it's from the perspective of the bad guys or the villains of Star Wars.
Who I bet are going to be white. I'm sure they are.
These are people who are using the Force in their own way, dipping into the darker sides of the Force, and are doing it without being sanctioned by, you know, the larger.
Leslie Headland has got the most peculiar face I've ever seen. It's like her chin is going all the way up to her mouth and then over her face. I mean, she could fold herself inside out, which would be a pretty unique Jedi skill to have, right?
Institution, which in this case is the Jedi. And I think that Star Wars is always about some version of the underdog versus the institution.
She was going to say the undergarment, not the underdog. Star Wars, the story of the undergarment. Kind of like that version.
And I just thought it was very interesting to do a show about the bad guys, and to set that during that time period made the most sense. So I think that's what sets it apart. It's kind of almost flipped. We have more Jedi than you've seen in any other of the Star Wars content. But at the same time, I think you see more morally ambiguous characters than you've seen in other Star Wars content. And I think I can say this pretty confidently.
Did she say content or content? I'm not quite sure which one you're getting to, actually.
I don't think you're going to see action in other shows the way that you see it used and utilized in our show.
Hang on a second. You're saying this is a Star Wars show and no wars in it, but there's still action. Okay, right. I've just missed the point there.
I want to tell everyone as much as I can, but we really are not allowed to share anything. All I can say...
You can tell this chick is Gen Z. I mean, all the piercings between her eyes. I mean, good grief, man. Whatever happened to natural facial beauty?
Is like Leslie was saying, it's a really interesting time in the galaxy. Because there are no wars, we get to lean into the underdogs and the moral ambiguity of these characters.
She's literally just parrot talking what Leslie's just said. Oh.
And so I have the opportunity of playing something that...
Well, you're non-binary, so I guess you are playing something. Should this be the thumbnail for my video?
그리고 또
So I guess this might be Obi-Wan Kenobi's master, the original Jedi master. I have no idea actually, but I'm just wondering with the casting of this gentleman why they made it such a thing to cast him. Why am I seeing Jack Black and Lizzo here?
Well, I mean, I think this day has been really exciting in general because you see the progress that Star Wars is making across the board and all of the streaming and all of the series. I think our show in particular.
Oh, look at me, I'm Garabos. Look at me, it's about the patriarchy, taking down the patriarchy. It's about the matriarchy, because I can't wait. Hang on, that mic is positioned the wrong way, should be.
I think that when it comes to the world of fantasy and sci-fi in general, it hasn't felt like a safe space always for people of color.
This chick has never seen the original Star Trek series. Well, you had Nichelle Nichols interlocking lips with William Shatner. The first interracial kiss on TV. It broke boundaries. Subsequently, you had other shows on America. Now, I'm not even including The Cosby Show because that was complete and utter trash. But you had shows in between that catered for diversity. Not just black and white, you had Hispanic, you had other things, other elements that made up diversity. They don't need a safe space. It was all there. If you wanted to be a jobbing actor or actress of color and break into Hollywood, which fundamentally is run by the white folk and Jewish ones at that too, you could find your way in and you got a gig and you were set for life. I mean, Bill Cosby was set for life, just didn't realize it was going to backfire on him so badly. Safe space. Oh, I want my safe space, and it's going to be in front of the camera. I mean, listen, this chick has no idea what safe space even means. She's in the public eye. How is it a safe space? Well, she's going to find out next year, isn't she, when the Acolyte appears on our big screens, or smaller screens actually, how that's all going to work out for her.
And it's been a world that I've always deeply loved and been invested.
No, it's a world you deeply love, but it's a world you want to deeply infiltrate. That's what it is. Bryan Cranston played the infiltrator, but now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our very own activist infiltrators who want to destroy, take down a property that means so much to people by creating a safe space in the harbor for people of color and ethnicities and genders, because there's only two genders, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh.
So to be in any way, shape, or form a part of the wave that is ushering in inclusion and safety for black nerds.
Now, listen, love, there are nerds of many colors. Why are we bringing in the fact, what, are black people ashamed to be nerdy? Are they afraid, is this a ghetto thing? Where you can't be a nerd in the neighborhood because we're going to beat your ass up. Anybody can be a fucking nerd. I've been a nerd since the day I was born. I'm more of a geek than a nerd. I'm a bit of both, actually. But I never highlighted my color to defend being a geek or a nerd. That's absolutely stupid and moronic. Nobody should ever do that. But this clueless Gen Z chick right here, she's so nerd. She doesn't even have any conviction. It's like, oh, well, yeah, it's for nerds of color who's going to watch Star Wars. I'm betting you the nerds of color prefer the original Star Wars with Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Alec Guinness, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker. See, no edits there. I'm just shouting off the top of my head. Billy D. Williams as Landau Calrissian. Oh, your diversity right there, folks. And when I saw Billy D popping up in The Empire Strikes Back, I thought this is cool. It was natural and it just felt right. It wasn't forced politics. George Lucas thought, yeah, let's have a character like him. It will make sense because it's set in a galaxy far, far away. This galaxy far, far away is filled with pronouns, an absolute nonsensical identity agenda. I've often joked that if a spaceship appeared in front of my house, I would ask them to take me away. Well, I'll make that condition now. Aliens, if you're watching this video, just take me away where there's no forced ambiguity, that I can just get on with my day-to-day life with a hot, beautiful wife, tending to the plow outside and then plow my wife afterwards, and living an existence of happy ever after. Can you do that for me, aliens in outer space? Can you do that for me, please?
It's like, it's my dream come true.
맞습니다.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, that was beginning to bore the bejesus out of me. Oh, God. Oh, that gave me the biggest headache I could remember in a long, long time. The Acolyte from Leslie Gibbs Headland. Are we excited? Do you remember Black Anne Boleyn when she came on stage and said, yes, Star Wars, it's all about the patriarchy? Well, we're looking forward to an Acolyte TV show where Carrie-Anne Moss apparently gets killed by 2 lightsabers or 2 swords. And then apparently Amandla Stenberg is playing not 1, but 2 roles. These are the rumors at the moment, folks. Anything can change. So one force is evil, the other is good. But this is a Star Wars show where wars do not feature. It's like having Doctor Who and there's no Daleks or Cybermen in it. It's just Doctor Who walks around taking the form of Ncuti Gatwa, who can't act his way out of a wet paper bag, and telling everybody about their pronouns and their agendas. Yeah, that's the new Doctor Who, folks, which is why that show has hit rock bottom already, and more further wasting of money from Disney, who put so much into it to up the special effects. Doctor Who, for me, was much better when it was a homemade show in England, and you could laugh at the costumes and the sets shaking around, but that was part of the charm. There's no charm in entertainment anymore, folks. It's all about messaging and projection and making you feel bad about yourself. But don't worry, folks, because I'm here to make you feel good about yourself, because that's the kind of guy that I am. And if you enjoyed this video today, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you slap that subscribe button. And if I were you, and if you were me, you better come back for the next video.